Okay, so on the back of your cell color sheet, we're going to hit several of these things. And for each of these organelles or parts of the cell, I'm going to give you a structure and a function on this. So let me back this down a little bit. So structure and function. So the first one is the cell membrane. Okay, come on, there we go. The cell membrane. And the cell membrane, the structure, it's a double layer of lipids with big chunks of proteins floating in it. So write that down. Again, pencil, no ink. Pencil, so it doesn't bleed through that other side. So a double layer of lipids with big chunks of proteins floating in them. So again, you have this beautiful picture here. So you have this double layer of lipids, and it's got these big chunks of proteins floating in them. It's called a phospholipid bilayer. Function, and here's a word I need you to remember. Have you guys heard that word, or did you talk about it as a semi-permeable membrane? Yes or no? Semi-permeable. No? Okay, so the function, it's a semi-permeable layer that controls what goes in and out of the cell. You already know it controls what goes in and out of the cell, right? So we're adding that semi-permeable. If it were totally permeable, it lets anything in and anything out. Semi-permeable means there's a guard at the door. Some things can get in, some things can't. Focus. So semi-permeable. Yes? You're going to have to know that word. That's a good word to put into your lexicon, especially for a biology class. I'm kind of shocked that you haven't used that word a lot when you're talking about the cell membrane. That light's coming down. You gotta watch it. Okay, next one is the cytoplasm. If we translate that word cytoplasm, cyto means cell, plasm means fluid. Cytoplasm. So if I talk about cytology, what is it the study of? Cells. So cytology is the study of cells. So cytoplasm, we refer to it as the cell fluid. If you pinch your skin on your arm, isn't it all smushy and you can move it around and stuff? You're messing with the cytoplasm. It's all made of cells, right? You're messing with, it's gushy. I always think, and I'm an old person now, so I can't use this for too much longer here, but I always think when I think cytoplasm, I think of, you know that Jell-O that old people eat that has all the fruit pieces in it? You know what I'm talking about? Do you guys eat that? It's just old people I always think of that associate with that and eat that. That's like there's the cell. The little fruit pieces in there would be like the organelles that are in there. So when you smush that arm, when you pinch up your arm, the skin on your arm, you smush it around, that's all cytoplasm. Okay? Now think about this. If you go to sleep and you lay on your side, are all your little organelles going to fall to that side as you sleep? No, because they're suspended in that cytoplasm, kind of like the fruit suspended in that Jell-O here. So the cytoplasm is a jelly-like fluid. It's outside the nucleus, and it is crazy rich with chemicals, because you've got all of these chemical processes that are going on inside the cell, tons and tons and tons of chemicals in there. And so you have to have access to all those to make, I mean, think about it. Your body's riddled with hormones. It's riddled with all sorts of chemicals that are controlling things. You have to have the ingredients to make all of those chemicals. And so your cells are just loaded with that, and all that stuff is in the cytoplasm. The function is to give the cell structure and contain the organelles. So for each of these things, when we talk about the cell, I'm going to give you a structure and a function. So you have the cytoplasm and you have the cell membrane. There's some cytoplasm-like stuff inside the nucleus too, but we usually don't even refer to it. A lot of times what they say is just to tell the difference, they call it nucleoplasm instead of cytoplasm. It's basically the same stuff though. Contain. Yeah, I should make this neater for you guys. I was just trying to scribble it down as fast as I could. Okay, am I going too fast? Can I move on? Okay, so the third thing is the cell wall. Obviously, you don't have a cell wall. So when I say cell wall, I wanted to write it in two ways. I didn't just want to say, hey, it's not in animals, in animal cells, but when you look at it, I want to make sure that you understand the cell walls are in plants, fungi, and bacteria. All the bacteria have cell walls, all the fungi have cell walls, and all the plants have cell walls. That's 3 of the kingdoms that have cell walls. We have 3 domains, and we have 4 kingdoms. So 3 domains: archaebacteria, bacteria, and eukarya. And then those 4 kingdoms: plant, animal, right? Plant, animal, fungi. And what's the 4th one? Bacteria. Nope, that's another one. Is it Protista? Yeah, I think it's Protista. Okay. My brain's damaged right now. I'm sorry. So the cell wall is not in the animal cells. It is, however, in the plants, the fungi, and the bacteria. The structure is really cool. It is a really rigid structure, and it's made of this chemical called cellulose. Okay, cellulose. Are you listening? It is the most abundant organic compound in the world. Okay, so there are 2, when you say most abundant compound, if you're talking inorganic, the most abundant inorganic compound would be like sand, silicon dioxide. But if you're talking about living things, the most abundant organic compound in the world is cellulose. It's in the cell walls of plants. Some fungi have cellulose as a cell wall. Sometimes it's a different chemical, just depends on what it is. But it's crazy everywhere. The paper you're writing on is basically cellulose. So that cell wall is made of this chemical called cellulose. And it's not living. It's a chemical that's put out. Okay, so it's really tough. It's really strong. But, you know, in comparison. So if I take this leaf down here, okay, so yeah, the cellulose around the cell walls, I can rip it apart because, yeah, I'm like engineering that, right? But if you get more and more and more layers of the cellulose, look at this guy right here. That's a little bit more thicker layer. So the cells die and they have a layer of the cell walls that are left over, so you get bark. So if you get thicker and thicker until you get thick enough to make wood out of it, trees can get really tall, right? So strong that we build our houses out of it, yes? That's cellulose. So strong that you can't digest it. Our digestive systems just aren't able to digest it. So again, I don't know which class we're talking about this in, but when you eat salads, when you eat like the raw spinach leaves and stuff, you get 0 calories out of them. Nothing. Because your body cannot digest cellulose at all. It goes in one end and out the other. You're not an herbivore. Herbivores have a special digestive system. Like cows, they have 4 stomachs. They swallow it, they spit it back up and chew it some more, and they swallow again, spit it back up and keep doing that. Why did they say like that? Okay, so it's not the fact that you digest it that's good, it's the fact that cellulose is a really rough chemical. So remember, you've got about 30 feet of small intestine, and it's packed into your gut cavity here, all smushed up. Stuff can get trapped in there. And so when you eat something like cellulose, like raw leaves and stuff like that, it scrapes everything out as it goes through and cleans out your intestines as you go through. It's really good for you, really healthy for you. Because a lot of times if something gets stuck in there and it starts to rot, that can cause some major damage to you. And so cleaning out the intestine by eating stuff, you hear old people talk about fiber. Fiber, that's cellulose. That's what they're talking about there. So it helps to keep that intestine clean and healthy. You can get some minerals from it, but really, if you just cook it, then you can get all the energy out of it. You'll digest it then. So, and that's why you eat salads when you're on a diet, right? Makes you feel full. A lot of you guys like salads. I like salads. Do you like salads? Yeah, you eat it, you like the taste of it, but you don't get many calories unless you put tons of cheese and salad dressing and stuff on it. You know, that stuff you can get the calories out of. But the lettuce, the leaves themselves, you can't. So it's a rigid structure, and it's made of cellulose, the most abundant. Okay, write this down really fast. Did you already write this? The function is support and protection. That's it. Once you've written that down, go ahead and pack it up